Hey mate, hope you're doing well today as always. Today, technical video. I'll try to make it as simple as possible and show you my main setup by breaking down the 3 trades I took this week. Every trade was called on X, so if you're interested in learning more, check the link in the description or in bio. Like I said, this is the setup I trade 80% of the time, and honestly 100% of the time when I'm under the 1 hour time frame. All 3 trades this week were taken on the 5-minute time frame, for example. Believe me, once you finally find your setup, your way of trading, and stop copying others, you rarely want to trade any other way. So watch this video until the end. I know it's not because I'll explain my setup that you'll become magically profitable, but see if you like my setup or if you can take some elements and add them to your own trading. Let's jump into it. So first, for my setup, you need 2 indicators. One RSI, so relative strength index, this one, and you need to understand how divergence work. I'm gonna repeat myself a bit, but you can watch the video I made about that last month, link in description. And 2, we need EMA, which I'll explain now. You take these indicators, it's the best. EMA cross 10, 21, 55 by Algo, thanks to them. And you set it up like this. We need EMA 13, 55, and the most crucial, 200. Choose whatever colors you want, and you'll see you can also combine this later with ICT, SMC, but that mostly for confirmation. Once again, you have more experience and knowledge. Okay, so now that we have our 2 indicators set, I'm gonna explain my trades. So first, GBP AUD 5-minute time frame, we were Thursday. So as you can see, the trend is bearish and our EMA is bearish since a while now. So basically, it's when the EMA 55, the yellow one, cross with the purple one, the EMA 200. So what it's interesting and what I want in my setup, it's watch what happens when the price touch the EMA 200. So once again, the purple one. And what I want, it's a divergence for me following our trend. And as you see, we have one there. The price go up, but the RSI, bottom of my screen, go down a bit. And if you saw my video and know how divergence work, to validate this divergence, for us to be interested in potentially taking a trade, we need to break the lower point between the 2 high with a close candle. So once this candle is closed, we have our bearish divergence valid. So it will be already enough for me to open a trade in that case. But as a bonus, for those who like liquidity concept and in that case SMC, we can see that the last boss is here. Not lower, not there, but there, because here it's the last time we create a new low after we took an inducement just there. People who would say that here it's a boss, here it's a boss, I don't want to be mean, but they don't know nothing about trading. So in our case, we know that plus the trend, plus our divergence on our EMA 200, we actually, in our case, SFP the buy side liquidity. So believe me, we love when we SFP, so when we just swap liquidity and swap buy side liquidity even more. So I enter that trade more or less here when I arrived in front of the chart. SL RSFP target the low, who is also our sell side liquidity for those once again who know how SMC works. And it went well, and ITP on this candle once we swap our sell side liquidity. Now, second trade on Euro JPY opened Wednesday. So once again, this time we are bullish, 5-minute time frame still. And when we touch our EMA 200, we have once again a divergence, but this time a bullish divergence. The price go down, but look at the RSI. The RSI goes up. And we valid this divergence when we broke this time, because it's a bullish divergence, the higher point between the two. So in that case, when we have a close candle above this point, so on this candle close, our divergence is valid. So once again, it's enough to open a trade. But as a bonus, we can see that first, we had this reaction on this POI. 2, we have this reaction on the the 61.8 of Fibonacci of the leg we're in. I opened just when this candle in 5 minutes that validate our divergence close. I put my SL this time just to be safe below the POI and our target the higher. And it went pretty well. It was an easy plus 2R setup. And last trade to explain. Euro USD, we were Tuesday. It's my biggest trade of the week, actually. This one is a bit more interesting because we have 3 different possible entry. This time we were bearish. Once again, we look what happened when we touch the EMA 200. We have a bearish divergence right there. The price goes up, but look at the RSI below. We have 2 lower points. This time it's a bearish divergence, so we validate this one and we're interested in potentially a trade when we have a close candle below this point. So now, like I said, what is interesting with this trade, it's that you have 3 potential entry. I zoomed to explain this. First, you're a beginner. You just apply what I explained in the last 2 previous trade. You just open the trade when we validate the divergence. So when we have a close candle above this point. Like this, you target the low. Number 2, if you have a bit more experience, you wait for a pullback. When we took an inducement, you have an inducement there, you have another inducement there, and you have the last inducement there. And actually, small tips for beginner, if you have a pullback but you don't have inducement to take, you're the liquidity, it's not a good thing. So that's the option number 2. Then you have the last option, the one I took. I opened the trade actually there, because for the one who know a bit more about candle pattern, you have this candle. And also I zoomed in 1 minute. It's a bit more complicated, but you have a very bearish divergence pattern that maybe I will explain in another video. And in that case, personally, I didn't target just the low. I target the AWAP monthly. Once again, it's a thing I explained in a technical video, how VWAP work, how angle VWAP work too. You can check in the description if you want to know how it works. And once again, it was a perfect trade. And like I said, it was the biggest one of my week because it was a plus 8R. That's all for me today. I hope my explanation was clear. The most important thing to remember is you need to understand how RSI and divergence work. Then you add to that EMAs, especially the EMA 200, the most powerful one. After that, everything else I explained, SMC, Fibonacci, liquidity, is just to improve your win rate in this setup and potentially your risk-reward ratio, optimizing your TP. Try it, backtest it, And if you have question, you can leave a comment or send me a DM. Follow me on X. You'll see that I mostly trade this exact kind of setup. See you soon, mate. Good luck if you're trading today. See you.